Mm. There we go. Now we're live. So Diff, let's talk about
Yeah.
Diff. Do you
Yes. That's
wanna
yeah.
do you wanna take it away?
Uh. Yeah. Yeah. So mostly, I'm just concerned about what the new spec changes will result in, like the changes in Diff library. So I'm not sure. Like currently, we don't really need any sort of changes because, like right now, we don't even parse the specification. Like we have flowed it to somewhere. Like let's say the CLI parses the specification and then passes that data to Diff. So I'm not sure. Like I don't think Diff will require any changes in the parsing phase, but I'm not sure whether like during the comparison, like we compare two documents, two async API documents, I'm not sure whether we need some changes there or not. So that's my first concern there regarding Diff.
Will you enable a difference between two versions? So let no, that doesn't make any sense. How do you classify changes?
So currently it's just JSON data. We
Uh-huh.
we use a library that finds the difference between those two JSON data and just uh, returns a list of what are the changes, what type of changes are there, and then we classify. We have a built-in schema where like we have a bunch of classifications predefined. Let's say if the version is has been changed or some URL has been changed, we will just look at the built-in schema and just like classify it as breaking, non-breaking, unclassified, and then just make a like just return it directly. So I don't think like there's a much changes needed in terms of like supporting the new schema. I will have to verify it through test. Like once the I have a pending PR on parser. Like is parser is spec 3 compliant right now?
It is if you use version 3. So there's
Uh,
uh, let me send you a little link to it. If you use this one here, and it's basically version 3.0 next major spec 1, then it supports version 3 and version 2.
okay. Yeah, so I will have to try it out. Just try this out locally and just try run the test against the new schema. There shouldn't be any problem though. I don't think so. But yeah, we will. I will have to verify that. And I had a other bunch of like questions. So we need to handle like somehow handle comparison of the previous version as well as like the new version 3. So uh like let's will there be any problem because right now we just accept the JSON data that the parser provides. So I don't think there would be any problem, but let me know what you think.
I would, it depends on what you want to do because um, like there's two approaches you can take when it for example comes between differentiating between version 1 version 2 and version 3 documents, because in theory some v3 documents are the same as the version 2 document. It's just a different structure.
Okay.
My recommendation would probably be to say that diff only supports differences between the same versions.
Got it. Yeah, we can do that. Like once we start supporting V3, we will like have a major like versioning of diff. Then we can like just say the new version only supports like same version, finding the diff between same versions of specification.
That's
Okay.
definitely the easiest
Yeah.
approach. Yeah.
Yeah. So this another one is like regarding the changes the in V3, like as you know, diff has like some a built-in schema where like a bunch of changes we are there. Those are already classified by default. So do we need to do we need to add some field in that like built-in classification? Like let's say we need some new thing is being introduced in the specification 3, and do we need to add that or not? Like
Hmm. So your question is basically, is there any changes in V3 that would change how diff behaves, right?
uh yeah.
Or did I misunderstand it?
Not really, like or like let's say in diff we have a bunch of changes, like let's say you are changing the version right now without we have a bunch of changes that like let's say if, if the version has been changed, we there's a document in the diff library that classifies that change as a breaking change. Like we have a bunch of mappings in the library
Ah,
itself. Yeah. So do we need to add some fields in there? Like let's say we want to support some new thing that is being introduced in V3, and we want to like diff to handle it out of the box.
hmm. Good question.
Like let me just share the link with of that classification thing that I was talking about. Uh, Here.
Hmm. Got it. Okay. Yeah, that one definitely needs to change based on version 3 and version 2. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's that's for sure. Um, hmm, 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 hmm. A good question how we can optimize that one, or how we can, because some of the fields have moved. For example, tags and external docs are now part of /info instead of the root document.
uh, okay.
So the channels, without a doubt, have changed somewhat, and especially because of operations as well. Um, it's I would probably suggest to just walk through. How did you create this in the first place? Just manually, like going through all
Yeah.
the structures? Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a
Manually.
document you used as a reference, or did you just look at the docs basically?
I looked at the docs, and like I had a PR where we were adding this thing, and
Okay.
like yeah, so we just took the feedback from community, like which changes should be classified as breaking, non-breaking, etc.
Makes sense. Yeah, you probably have to do the same approach again. Like some of the fields you can definitely reuse, but some of them will change.
Yeah, I
Um,
guess we will have to have some kind of versioning here as well. Like if we are comparing version 2, uh, use the default one, like what we have right now. And for the new specification, like we need to have some other structure, like same thing, but with new changes. And then we have to like during comparison, we will just look what kind of data, like what kind of JSON data we have, and just use that based on the version.
yep, I think that's the only way to do it. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I will probably take feedback here as well. Like, I will make a PR and then we can discuss what is the changes make sense or not.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm.
I think that the
Yeah.
biggest hurdle for you will be the structures. Like you need to add new paths in the standard object, so it matches the new version 3 structure instead of version 2, or
Got it.
yeah, adds a new one.
Yeah. Cool.
And then of course you need to have some kind of logic that applies it conditionally. Like you
Yeah.
said, like if it's a version 2 document you're comparing, then use this one or the other if it's version 3.
Oh,
And you probably also need to add this check with if you try to compare two different major versions, like fail the command in an expected way or fail the execution in a way that makes sense. So it gives an error to the user about the limitations, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah, makes sense. Got it. Cool. Yeah, that was like what I had in my mind right now. Like these will be the changes that are affected, that will be affected with the new specification. Most of it is just fine. We will just have to look at the built-in standard, and I will just try out the library with the new specification to see if it doesn't break. Yeah,
I think
cool.
this one will probably help you out actually. 2 seconds, let me find something. Mm-hmm. So we did add but it's still a work in progress, but the migration guide actually displays how channels, for example, have been split out into operations uh, and how the different paths have moved or information. So it
Wow.
might make sense to use that as some kind of starting point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is so helpful. Thanks. Yeah, this will do. Yeah,
Perfect.
cool. Yeah. So, and the last thing regarding that PR that I mentioned you in, like
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not exactly like there was the issue that like what was that issue of migrating those actions, right? Um, yeah, the changes that are required in the GitHub Actions automation. So like yeah, it was mentioned in the issue that I don't need to change any actions that are like managed centrally on the .github repo. So like on I just checked like all the actions in the diff library are managed by those like managed on .github repo. So I don't think any changes are needed there. I'm not sure. Like,
You're talking about this PR, right? Like with the problem with AGV.
yeah. So like on the PR, uh, Lucas mentioned that the PR is failing because of the changes that are required in the actions. But the actions like going to that issue, it just says like uh, we don't need to change all the actions that are managed centrally.
Mm-hmm.
So the like I just checked the actions that we have in the Diff repo, and like all the pretty much all the actions, like literally all the actions are managed by the managed centrally.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Like I don't need to make any change here.
Yeah, not manually, no. But um he does so in the issue that Lucas linked, um there is a guide right here. If you look under the this title, what do I do in a project that already have the release but the old release pipeline? So he added all the steps that's necessary for you to upgrade the workflows.
Oh yeah. It's there. Okay.
So it's basically just following that, and then you
Cool.
have
Got
all
it.
the updated stuff. Um,
Okay.
the
Got it. Got it. Yeah.
the other
Yeah.
problem you're having, I see the tests are failing when you try to run it.
Yeah, I tried this locally with Node like version 18, and then it's still failing with the same error.
So I would. It's impossible for me to debug it like now, but I would update the parser version and then try again basically, but clean out your cache before doing it. So when you switch to node 18,
Yeah.
I would remove my package lock, I would remove my node modules and then recommit them just to have a clean slate. And in theory, your like it should work out of the box, but if you still have ever any errors, just ping me.
Cool. I will try that.
All right. Do you have any other things you want to discuss for
No,
Diff?
that's yeah. Pretty much it. That's pretty much all I needed to know.
Nice and short meeting.
Yeah.
Short and concise. Love it. All right.
Yeah.
I guess
All
that's it
right, man.
then.
Yeah.
Take care. See ya.